Rory McIlroy just said the unthinkable. In a raw, brutally honest confession that left the golf world stunned, the four-time major champion admitted his game was completely broken just days before storming to the BMW Championship lead. Faced screaming in fear while Scottie Scheffler crumbled under pressure and Nelly Korda continued her reign of dominance, McIlroy delivered a performance for the ages, firing a flawless 6 under 64 that silenced every critic and sent shockwaves through the PGA Tour. This isn't just a comeback. This is a full-blown resurrection, and the golf world is still picking its jaw up off the floor. What did Rory say about his game, and how did he fix it in record time? The answer will blow your mind. Fireperson golfing. In the hyper-competitive, image-conscious world of professional golf, athletes rarely reveal their vulnerabilities. They speak in carefully crafted cliches, deflecting blame, and maintaining the facade of unshakable confidence even when their world is crumbling around them. But Rory McIlroy has never been one to follow the script, and in a moment of stunning candor that sent shockwaves through the entire golfing establishment, he did something that no one expected. He openly admitted that his game was in shambles. Just days before the BMW Championship, McIlroy sat down with reporters and delivered a brutally honest assessment of his recent performances, an admission that was as refreshing as it was alarming. "I went home and I worked on a few things," he said, but his tone carried the weight of someone who had been wrestling with demons that few could understand. He spoke of a game that had become unrecognizable, swing mechanics that had betrayed him, and a mental state that had deteriorated to the point where he was questioning everything he had built over 2 decades of professional golf. This wasn't the usual post-round frustration or temporary setback. This was a deep, existential crisis that threatened to derail his entire season. The golf world, accustomed to McIlroy's measured confidence, was taken aback by the raw emotion and vulnerability he displayed. He admitted that during the FedEx St. Jude Championship, just 1 week prior, he had felt completely lost on the course. For the first time in over 5 years, he had failed to break par in any of his 4 rounds, finishing in a forgettable 66th place that was a humiliating low point for a player of his caliber. Every swing felt foreign, every putt looked impossible, and every decision seemed to backfire. He talked about the frustration of knowing what he needed to do, but being physically unable to execute it. A disconnect between intention and action that is the ultimate nightmare for any athlete. But what made McIlroy's admission truly remarkable was his refusal to make excuses. He didn't blame the course, the weather, his equipment, or any external factor. He took full responsibility for his struggles, acknowledging that the problem lay squarely in his own head and his own swing. That level of accountability, especially from a player who has achieved so much, was a testament to his character and his unwavering commitment to excellence. His honesty was disarming, and it endeared him to fans and fellow competitors alike, who appreciated the rare glimpse into the private struggles of a public icon. However, the admission also raised serious questions. Was Rory McIlroy's career in decline? Had the once unstoppable prodigy finally succumbed to the relentless pressure of expectation? Or was this just another temporary blip in a career full of dramatic highs and lows? The speculation was rampant, and the pundits were divided. Some argued that McIlroy's best days were behind him, that the game had evolved past his style of play, and that he would never recapture the magic of his early career. Others pointed to his undeniable talent and work ethic, predicting that he would find a way to bounce back, as he had done so many times before. What no one could have predicted, however, was the speed and ferocity of his response. McIlroy didn't retreat to lick his wounds or make excuses. He went straight to work. He flew home to Florida immediately after his disastrous performance, not for a vacation or a pity party, but for a marathon session with his longtime swing coach, Michael Bannon. The two men locked themselves in the practice facility, spending countless hours analyzing swing footage, tweaking positions, and searching for the magic formula that had made him a 4-time major champion. McIlroy's brutal admission was not an act of surrender. It was the catalyst for a transformation. By acknowledging his failures so publicly, he freed himself from the burden of pretense and allowed himself to rebuild from the ground up. He spoke of the importance of getting back to the fundamentals, of simplifying his approach, and of trusting the instincts that had guided him to greatness. The very act of confessing his struggles seemed to lift a weight from his shoulders, and by the time he arrived at the BMW Championship, he was a different man, more focused, more determined, and more dangerous than ever. This chapter of McIlroy's career is a powerful reminder that vulnerability is not a weakness but a strength, that the willingness to confront our shortcomings is the first step toward overcoming them. His brutal honesty in the face of adversity did not diminish him. It elevated him, transforming a struggling athlete into a sympathetic and compelling figure who had the entire golf world rooting for his redemption. And as he stepped onto the first tee at Bellerive Country Club, the crowd could sense that something special was about to happen. The confession was out, the work was done, and now it was time for the performance. What happened next was nothing short of miraculous. After his brutal admission of vulnerability, Rory McIlroy did what champions do. He got to work. He flew back to his home in Florida and locked himself in the practice facility with his longtime swing coach, Michael Bannon. Together, they embarked on an intense, forensic examination of every aspect of his game, leaving no stone unturned in their quest to restore the magic. The process was grueling, involving hours of video analysis, endless repetitions on the range, and a ruthless commitment to identifying and eliminating the flaws that had derailed his season. The results were immediate and electrifying. At the BMW Championship, McIlroy looked like a man reborn, a warrior who had emerged from the crucible of failure with renewed purpose and a ferocious determination to silence his critics. He attacked Bellerive Country Club with a precision and aggression that was breathtaking to watch, his driver finding fairways with machine-like consistency and his iron shots raining down on flags with unerring accuracy. He carded 6 birdies, 0 bogeys, and a breathtaking 6 under 64 that catapulted him to the top of the leaderboard. It wasn't just the score that impressed, it was the manner in which he achieved it. McIlroy was calm, confident, and in complete control of every facet of his game, a stark contrast to the lost and frustrated figure we had witnessed just days earlier. The transformation was so complete and so rapid that it defied conventional logic. How could a player go from being completely lost to utterly dominant in less than a week? The answer lies in the specific technical adjustments McIlroy made with Bannon, adjustments that addressed the root causes of his struggles rather than simply treating the symptoms. Sources close to the camp revealed that the changes involved a more compact backswing, a different wrist angle at the top, and a greater emphasis on maintaining his spine angle throughout the swing. These tweaks, subtle as they may seem to the untrained eye, had a profound impact on McIlroy's consistency and ball striking. By shortening his backswing, he was able to improve his control and eliminate the dreaded two-way miss that had plagued him at times. By adjusting his wrist angle, he was able to square the club face more consistently at impact, resulting in straighter, more penetrating ball flight. And by maintaining his spine angle, he was able to generate more power and stability through the hitting zone. The result was a swing that was not only more reliable, but also more powerful than ever. But the transformation wasn't just technical, it was mental and emotional as well. McIlroy's brutal admission had cleared the psychological clutter that had been weighing him down, allowing him to approach the BMW Championship with a newfound sense of freedom and clarity. He spoke about the importance of getting back to basics, of trusting his instincts, and of playing with the kind of joy and abandon that had characterized his early career. Gone was the overthinking, the second-guessing, and the paralyzing fear of failure. In its place was a quiet confidence and a fierce determination to prove that he still belonged among the elite. McIlroy's performance at the BMW was a masterclass in resilience, a demonstration of how a champion can use adversity as a springboard for greatness. It was also a stark warning to his competitors. The old Rory McIlroy was back, and he was hungrier than ever. The golf world was left wondering, how long can he sustain this level of play? Is this a temporary resurgence or the beginning of a new era of dominance? The answers to these questions would unfold in the coming weeks and months. But for now, McIlroy had made his statement loud and clear. He was not done. He was not fading. He was just getting started. And as he walked off the 18th green at Bellerive, his name atop the leaderboard, there was a spring in his step and a glint in his eye that told everyone watching that this was far from over. The transformation was complete, and the Rory McIlroy Redemption Tour was officially underway. No story about Rory McIlroy's dramatic resurgence would be complete without examining the context in which it occurred, specifically the stunning struggles of world number one Scottie Scheffler. While McIlroy was ascending, Scheffler was descending, creating a narrative of two titans moving in opposite directions that captivated the golf world. Just weeks ago, Scheffler was considered unbeatable, a player whose dominance was so absolute that even his fiercest rivals openly admitted they were playing for second place. His margin at the top of the world rankings was the largest since Tiger Woods in his prime, and he had already accumulated 21 PGA Tour victories and 2 titles in 2026. He was the undisputed king, and his reign seemed destined to continue for years to come. But something shifted. At the Genesis Scottish Open, Scheffler missed a 6-foot par putt on his final hole, costing him the cut by 2 shots. It was a shocking moment, his first missed cut in 4 years, spanning 78 consecutive tournaments over 1,428 days. The streak, a testament to his incredible consistency, had come to an end. The invincible aura that surrounded him began to show its first hairline fracture. Then came the BMW Championship, where Scheffler played alongside McIlroy and witnessed his rival's resurgence firsthand. While McIlroy was firing a flawless 64, Scheffler was struggling to a 2 over 72, visibly sick and hoarse, and clearly out of sorts. The 10-shot gap between them was a symbolic and statistical indictment of how dramatically the tables had turned. Scheffler plummeted to a tie for 44th, a shocking fall for a man who just days earlier had dominated the same rival. The psychological impact of this reversal cannot be overstated. In a sport where confidence is everything, Scheffler's confidence appeared to be on shaky ground, and his competitors could sense the vulnerability. The fall of the king raised profound questions about the nature of dominance in professional golf. Was Scheffler's decline a temporary blip, a combination of illness and bad luck, or was it a more fundamental shift in the balance of power? Some experts speculated that the weight of expectation, the relentless pressure of maintaining a tiger-like dominance, was finally taking its toll. Scheffler had been the face of the PGA Tour, the man who carried the sport on his broad shoulders, and perhaps that burden had become too heavy. Others pointed to the natural ebb and flow of athletic careers, noting that even the greatest players experience slumps and setbacks. The key, they argued, was how Scheffler responded to this adversity. Would he be able to regroup, rediscover his form, and reclaim his throne? Or would he succumb to the pressure, allowing McIlroy and others to overtake him? The answers to these questions would shape the narrative of the 2026 season and beyond. Meanwhile, the changing of the guard was not limited to the men's game. Nelly Korda, the undisputed queen of women's golf, continued to dominate, capturing her 4th major title at the U.S. Women's Open. While the men's game was embroiled in its own dramatic crisis, Korda was quietly, ruthlessly, and magnificently doing what she does best, winning. Her victory was a masterclass in grit and determination, holding off a charging field to claim the title by a single stroke. She birdied the 17th hole to take the lead and held on for dear life against Gabby Lopez and Charlie Hull, proving once again that she is the most dangerous player on the planet. The contrast was stark. On one side, you had a chaotic, unpredictable battle where the king was stumbling and the challengers were vying for his crown. On the other side, you had a clear, undisputed queen who was expanding her legacy with every tournament she played. The 2026 narrative had become a tale of 2 tours, a story of struggle and redemption, vulnerability and dominance. And at the center of it all was Rory McIlroy, the player who had been written off and was now staging one of the greatest comebacks in recent memory. The context of Scheffler's struggles only amplified the significance of McIlroy's resurgence, creating a perfect storm of drama that captivated golf fans around the world. As the season entered its final stretch, the battle for supremacy was far from over, and the outcome was anything but certain. In the age of social media, sports moments are amplified and immortalized in real time, and Rory McIlroy's stunning comeback at the BMW Championship was no exception. The moment his final putt dropped, the internet erupted, and golf fans from every corner of the globe took to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to express their shock, excitement, and admiration. The reaction was swift, passionate, and overwhelmingly positive, with millions of fans sharing their thoughts on what they had just witnessed. Hashtags like Rory is back, McIlroy moment, and BMW Championship began trending almost immediately as the golf world united in celebration of a player who had overcome incredible odds to reclaim his place at the top. The emotional resonance of McIlroy's comeback was palpable, and it tapped into something deeper than just a sporting achievement. It was a story of resilience, of vulnerability, of a champion who had the courage to admit his failures and the determination to overcome them. Fans who had been critical of McIlroy's recent performances were suddenly singing his praises, acknowledging the immense mental and physical fortitude required to bounce back from such a low point. The comments section of golf-related social media posts became a flood of positive energy, with fans sharing their own stories of struggle and redemption, drawing inspiration from McIlroy's example. It wasn't just casual fans who were moved. Fellow professionals, including some of McIlroy's biggest rivals, took to social media to congratulate him on his remarkable turnaround. The respect and admiration from his peers spoke volumes about McIlroy's standing in the game and the universal appreciation for his talent and character. But the reaction wasn't limited to the golf community. Mainstream media outlets, from ESPN to the BBC, picked up the story, turning McIlroy's comeback into a global sports story that transcended the boundaries of the game. Talk shows discussed it, news channels covered it, and sports analysts dissected it from every angle. The narrative was irresistible: a fallen hero, a brutal confession, a rapid transformation, and a triumphant return to form. It was a Hollywood script come to life, and the public couldn't get enough. Memes and GIFs flooded the internet, with fans creating hilarious and heartwarming content to celebrate McIlroy's performance. Some compared him to a phoenix rising from the ashes, others to a superhero regaining his powers after a period of weakness. The creativity and enthusiasm of the fan base were a testament to the emotional connection that people have with sports and the athletes who play them. McIlroy himself took notice of the fan reaction, acknowledging in post-round interviews how much the support meant to him. He spoke about the positive messages he had received from fans around the world and how they had helped lift his spirits during his darkest moments. This reciprocal relationship between athlete and fan, where the athlete draws strength from the support of the public and the public draws inspiration from the athlete's achievements, is one of the most beautiful aspects of sports. The social media explosion over McIlroy's comeback also highlighted the changing nature of sports consumption in the digital age. No longer are fans passive observers. They are active participants in the narrative, shaping the conversation and amplifying the drama. The immediacy and interactivity of social media create a sense of community and shared experience that enriches the enjoyment of sports events. For McIlroy, the overwhelming support he received from fans was a powerful reminder of why he plays the game and the impact he has on people's lives. As he continues his quest for greatness, he carries with him the hopes and dreams of millions of fans who believe in him and his ability to overcome any obstacle. The fan reaction was not just a celebration of a sporting achievement. It was a testament to the human spirit and the power of redemption. As the dust settles on one of the most dramatic weeks in recent golf history, the inevitable question on every fan's mind is, what's next? Where do Rory McIlroy, Scottie Scheffler, and Nelly Korda go from here? And how will the rest of the 2026 season unfold? The stage is set for an epic conclusion to the season, a final act that promises to be as thrilling and unpredictable as the drama that has already unfolded. For Rory McIlroy, the BMW Championship was far more than just a victory. It was a launching pad, a resounding statement that he is very much alive and ready to compete for the biggest prizes. He has rediscovered his swing, his swagger, and his belief, and that combination makes him the most dangerous player on the planet. But the question is whether he can sustain it. McIlroy has been notoriously streaky throughout his career, capable of running off a string of victories, but also prone to inexplicable slumps. He has openly admitted that his work with swing coach Michael Bannon is a work in progress, a continuous process of refinement and adjustment rather than a finished product. However, his performance at Bellerive suggests that this particular progress is coming fast and furious, and if he can maintain this level of play, he will be a force to be reckoned with in every tournament he enters. The mental fortitude he showed in bouncing back from a horrific performance at the St. Jude to win at the BMW is a testament to the kind of resilience that defines true champions. He didn't make excuses. He went to work and fixed the problem. That is the hallmark of a player who still has a burning desire to add to his major tally. For Scottie Scheffler, the situation is more urgent and more complicated. The missed cuts, the illnesses, and the uncharacteristically poor performances are warning signs that cannot be ignored. In a sport where confidence is the most important currency, a player of his caliber cannot afford to let these cracks become chasms. He needs a win, and he needs it soon, to silence the doubters and reassert his dominance over the field. But more than that, he needs to rediscover the joy and freedom that characterized his play during his rise to the top. When Scheffler is at his best, he is playing with a carefree abandon, attacking pins and making putts with a smile on his face. The pressure of being the hunted has clearly weighed on him, and he must find a way to shed that burden and return to being the hunter. The good news for Scheffler is that his talent is undeniable, and slumps, even for the best players, are often temporary. A single great round, a single putt that drops at the right time, can reignite his spark and send him on another dominant run. The golf world will be watching him closely to see how he responds to this adversity. And then there is Nelly Korda, the undisputed queen who is looking ahead to the next major with the same relentless focus and determination that has defined her entire career. Her victory at the U.S. Women's Open has added another jewel to her crown, but she is far from satisfied. Korda is a player who is always looking for the next challenge, the next milestone, the next opportunity to prove herself. She has made it clear that her goal is not just to win majors, but to dominate the game in a way that few women have done before. With the final majors of the season on the horizon, she is the overwhelming favorite, and her competitors know that they will have to play their absolute best to beat her. The 2026 narrative has evolved into a thrilling, unpredictable battle where the king stumbles, the challenger rises, and the queen reminds everyone who really rules the game. It is a story of redemption, rivalry, and resilience, a story that has captivated golf fans around the world and drawn new viewers to the sport. As the season enters its final stretch, the stakes could not be higher. Will Rory McIlroy continue his resurgence and finally add that elusive fifth major? Will Scottie Scheffler find his game again and silence the doubters? Will Nelly Korda further cement her legacy as one of the greatest players of all time? The answers to these questions will be revealed in the coming weeks and months, and the journey promises to be unforgettable. So buckle up, golf fans. The best is yet to come, and this roller coaster ride of a season is far from over. We are witnessing history in the making, and the battle for supremacy is only just beginning. Fire.